Well, hello, fellow beaders. I know, long time no see. So, I've been wanting to do a tutorial for a while, and I finally had a break in my schedule and was able to do this. So here's what I've made. I'm calling this my blooms bracelet because I think the little units look like little flower blooms. And so I did it in two different colorways, and I will give you the colors in just a second. But here it is. And okay, so the top color, and this is the one that I show you how to make in the tutorial. So this is, let's see, the beads you're gonna need are superduos, a 4mm. I'm using rounds, so you can use pearls or just regular rounds. 11O seed beads and a 3mm bead. So in my case, I'm using bicones. Okay, so the color of the superduos. This one is from Aura Crystals, and the color is opaque white slipperit. I hope I said that right. And that is the color of these superduos here. The other color, which is from Potomac Beads, is called Mixed African Turquoise 2, and that is this color down here. The 4mm rounds, these were purchased from Art Beads. And these are saturated metallic blooming. And here's a picture. I'm down to my last three. And then these are just white pearls. So 4mm pearls, glass pearls. Okay, seed beads. These are both 11O seed beads. And the darker color is Duracode Galvanized Dark Mauve. And this is from Aura Crystals. These are my go-to favorites, and they're both Mayuki. So this is Mayuki, this should be galvanized silver. Yeah, these are galvanized silver. This is faded. I've had these for a little while, but they are Mayuki galvanized silver seed beads here. Okay, so then the bicones. These are 3mm bicones. So the first color is Cristo Capri Gold, and this is from Beads and Crystals for Friends. And yes, that is the name of the shop. So if you Google Beads and Crystals for Friends, this is what you're gonna, that's the name of the store, .com, online store. And the second, these are Czech machine cut bicones is what they are, both of them. And this one is Emerald AB. So, and there's the label, 3mm. Those are the colors that I've used. I used a 6-pound fireline, and in this case I used the black. I used black for both. You can't even tell that I'm using black on this one. So no thread is showing. And you'll need some jumprings and a clasp of your choice. So on the bottom one, I used a toggle clasp, and then over here, I used a lobster claw clasp with some jumprings. So, okay, so let's get started. Okay, so to start, what you're going to do is pick up 6 superduos like I have here, and then 6 11Os. So it doesn't matter which bead you start with, but you're going to alternate. So I started with the 11, then the super duo, and then 11, and so forth until you have 6 of each. So I have it down at the end of my thread here. I am just going to quickly make a knot. So I want a nice tight circle. So just do a little square knot. Just like so. So once you have your ring, go ahead and... So this is what it should look like once you've completed the knot. Then go ahead and go through all the beads again to reinforce. Okay, so here we go. Let's see, I'm right here next to this seed bead. So I'm just gonna go ahead and continue. And because they're in a circle, you might not be able to do more than a few beads at a time. So I went ahead and got 4, and I will move my finger out of the way. Okay, we're almost there. And there we go. I think I just have to go through one more bead. So I'm just going to go through the 11, and then I actually want to exit out of a super duo. Just like so, and that's what you want. Now you're going to take your 4mm and whoops, pick up that 4mm, and let me shift a little bit over here so I'm in the center of my screen and you guys can see really well. So basically this is the super duo I'm coming out of. I'm going directly across. So there's going to be 2 super duos on either side and to this super duo here. So just go through the super duo, and this should help pop that 4mm right into the center. So I'm going to move my finger, I know, so you can see what I'm doing. It's one of those tricky things with when you're recording, you want to hold on to the piece so it doesn't go flying off, but you also want to make sure that the camera can see what you're doing. Okay, now go back through that 4mm and okay, so now I want to, my thread is there on the right side, and so I'm going to go through the super duo going from right to left, and I'm actually just going to turn the work sideways so a little easier for my hand. So in this case I'm just, and basically what you're doing there is you're making a loop between those 3 beads, so between the 2 super duos and the 4mm. And I want to avoid the 15, or the 15, the 11. Sorry, I misspoke there. The 11. There we go. And give that a tug, and this is what it looks like. And see how perfectly it fits. And you can go back through it again if you don't think it's snug enough, but I think it's actually very secure this way. And now what I'm going to do is switch to this second hole of that super duo where I'm exiting. And I am now going to add all of these 4mm all the way between all the super duos here. So I'm going to grab my 4 and I'm just going to go into this next super duo. So here's the one where the thread is exiting. So we're just going into this one. And again, so you're going to do this 6 times. You want to get 6 of those. Okay, there's 2. And now number 3. And this is going to be number 4. Number 5. And number 6. So what you want to do now is actually go through the super duo and also go through the next 4mm. So this was the first one we added when we started this round. So go ahead and go through that. And now go through the super duo. Ha. Okay, thread got caught on the corner of my desk. I managed to unhook it before the piece flew out of my hand, which happens. Okay, I'm gonna get some seed beads over here. So this next part, we're gonna switch to the second hole of the super duo here again. And we're gonna add some seed beads. So if we take a look at the component, I've already started this here, so there's my little sample. So what we're going to do is we're going to add these seed beads that are sitting here between the super duos on the inside. So creates a nice little 3D effect. Looks like a little blossoming flower, I think. So, and the technique, and the reason you're probably wondering why I didn't do this earlier, right after we added the center bead, and I actually went out and added the 4mm, is it has to do with tension. So I wanted to make sure the tension was nice and neat, or nice and even, and getting the spacing right with the 4mm, and then adding these in. So this will tighten up the inner circle without making it too difficult to add in the 4mm later. So this is why you do it second versus doing it first. Okay, so I'm just going to grab 3 11s. Oh, got 2. Thought I had the third one. There's my 3. And I am going to skip the seed bead and just go into the next superduo. So just note that I'm coming out of that superduo, and I am just going to go into the next one. So you want to avoid the seed bead as best you can. Okay, so it looks like it's a little bit sideways, and what you're going to do is just take your index finger and your thumb and just rotate it so that it sits. So those 3 seed beads are going to be sitting between the superduo like so. So it's a little picot, is what you call that, and they just want to sit straight up. And they do, and just give the thread a tug. Okay, so I'm picking up 3 more, so you're going to repeat this all the way around. I am going to go ahead and go into this next superduo here. And that one kind of fell into place a little bit better this time. See? And again, 1, 2, and 3. And there we go. Whoops. Right there. So, and you can, if you don't like this, you can leave this off. This is I just thought it looked really cute this way. So, and again, just going all the way around. So again, because you have 6, everything's in units of 6, you're just going to do this 6 times, just like you did for adding those 4mm. So I got to do this 2 more times. We've done 4. So I'm picking up 3 again, and oh, I'm off camera there. My seed beads are. Shift my mat down, and I am coming out of that one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go through this next one here. Oh, luckily that stab wasn't so hard. Don't stab yourself with the needle, although I do that frequently. So as experienced as I am with beading, oh man, do I stab myself. And this one isn't completely straight, so let's straighten that one out. So I'm just gonna, so if you find that happens, just go ahead and just give the thread a tug, and that should straighten those out. So they look great, don't they? Okay, this is my last one, and I'm just gonna go ahead and go into the superduo, and I will warn you, this will be can be tricky because you've got quite a few little beads there, but I think I managed to do it. And you want to make sure you avoid any 11s and just come out of the superduo, because we got to switch to the second hole again, and we're going to go back out to the outer ring of this unit. And so it's nice and straight. So here it is. Doesn't that look like a little flower opening up? And then we're going to turn into, like I said, we're going to go back up, and you can reinforce this if you want to. So if you feel like it's too loose, go back through all the beads and reinforce. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead and skip that. This is going to be a long video because I've got a couple of units techniques to show you here. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over. All right, coming out of that superduo, I am just going to continue and go into the 4mm now. All right, and once again, we're going to be picking up 3 seed beads and adding them between all of the 4mm. So now I'm gonna go into this next 4mm. The thread's coming out of the one at the bottom. Now I'm gonna go into the next one. And once again, we gotta do this 6 times, just like that. Okay, there we go. Lost my work. Again, I do apologize. I am a little klutzy. I haven't made videos in a while, as I'm sure you've noticed, and so I am very klutzy. So trying to do beadwork while rook filming is always a challenge, but so this will require just a little more editing on my part, but there we go. So thank you for your patience ahead of time with me, and hopefully once I start doing videos a little more regularly, hopefully it's like riding a bike and I can not be so clumsy with it. Okay, so I've just been adding 3/11s and then just going into the 4mm beads here. And we just got to do this one last time. Oh, I think that hole is not open on that one. Okay, so here we go. The unit is just about complete, but this is the first unit. So the first unit is always done a little bit differently than my second unit, and all of the following units are going to be the same, but this first unit is always unique. So now I need to make the loop for the clasp. So I'm going to start with 5/11s. All right. There's 4 and I've got 5 on my needle now, I think. Nope, I lied. There's only 4. Okay, let's get one more. Okay, now we got 5. And you're just going to go back around that 4mm that your thread's coming out of. Sorry. Bump the camera, actually the tripod. And there you go. I'm going to turn the work upward, and it's kind of to the back of it, but that's okay. I just want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So coming out of that 4mm, and I am actually going to reinforce. So I'm going to go through 3 of the 11s here. And then down to the 2. And then we are gonna go back into the 4mm. And because this is the clasp loop, you definitely wanna go through that at least twice. Okay. And now what you're gonna do is come up into the middle 11, and we're gonna make that diamond that I've been making. It's been a while since I made one of these, but you guys remember, do you remember how to do those? So pick up 4/11s. Go back through just that middle 11. Okay, so here's the front again. Go through the first 11. Then pick up another 11, and you're going to go into the next 11. And again, do it again. Pick up an 11 and go into the next one. just like so. And one more time, we're gonna pick up an 11, and I'm actually gonna just go ahead and go through the next 2 11s. And then there's my little diamond shaped loop. And what I'll do when I add the clasp is I'll add some jump rings to this. And I'm using a lobster claw, so I'll add the jump ring, a lobster claw on the opposite side, it'll be just jump rings alone. But there you go. And you can go ahead and go through that again to reinforce. And you'll probably have to do this 2 beads at a time because of the angles of the beads. So go through 2. Go through 2 again. Okay, I am having trouble getting my needle to line up. There we go. I lined it up. Nope, did not get the second one. There we go. Sorry, hopefully you're still able to see what I'm doing, although I'm just reinforcing, so I'm not adding beads. Okay, so now I gotta get through 2. And actually what I'm gonna do is just go through 1. And then go through the one after that, which you can see is right there. It's the middle bead of that group of 5. And then down these 2. And then through the 4 millimeter here. Okay, so now we got to get to the 4 millimeter all the way on the other side. And so we're going to go through these 3 11-ohs. Then the 4 millimeter. And then 3 11-ohs. And again, let's see. Almost there, I got a few more to go. Okay, 3. Okay, so here's the beads. I went through those 3 11s, the 4 millimeter, and then just the first seed bead on the other side of that 4 millimeter. Okay, our component is done. Now I'm going to show you how to do the connectors, and we're going to need those 3 millimeter bicones. And you can, if you don't have 3 millimeters, you can use a 4. It's really doesn't matter. I just happen to have these, so I wanted to use them. Okay, so you want to make sure you're coming out of an 11-0, and then you're going to pick up a 3 millimeter, and it doesn't have to be a bicone. A seed bead, 11-0. Your 4mm, another seed bead, and I'm off camera here, sorry about that. So another 11, and then again the 3mm bicone. So this is what you should be picking up. So now on your component, what you're actually going to do is go through the 11 here, the 4, and then back out again of that 11 where the thread is exiting. Just like that. And that is your connector. Okay, so for the next part, I'm going to show you how to make the next unit, and the second unit is made a little bit differently. Okay, so I went ahead and reinforced the beads again off camera, but that's, you know, it's reinforcing. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't adding anything. But here we are. Here's what we should have. And now what you're going to do is you're going to pick up a superduo, and then followed by a 4mm, superduo, a 4mm, superduo. So it's going to be 6 superduos and 5 of the 4mm because you've already got this one here. So it'll be a total of 6 for everything. Okay, so I've got 4 and 4 of everything. There's number 5 of each, and there's number 6. And you're going to be starting with a superduo and then a 4mm, and you should end with a superduo. So here they are, and I'm just going through the 4mm. And just like that. Now I want to keep this snug, but I don't want to make it too tight, because we're going to go ahead and put the seed beads and make the inner part, the inner ring, which is the seed beads and the superduos. And so I'm not going to reinforce at this point. Okay, so we're coming out of that 4mm. Go ahead and continue forward to the superduo. And again, I want that tight. I don't want that too tight. I want it snug, but not super tight. And then I am going to go ahead and switch to the other hole of that superduo. And now you're going to add 11s in between all the superduos. So you're going to make that inner ring. So pick up an 11 and just go into the next superduo. So if it's gotten loose like it just did here, see, there's all that space, just go ahead and tighten it up and just give it a good tug. You can also pull the thread a little bit by going over here. See that thread that when I switched holes, I'm just going to pull that up and then pull it this way. So this could be a little bit fiddly. Just take your time, be patient with it. Getting those superduos to kind of fall in line is a little fiddly, but it'll happen. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the seed bead to the next one. And so the seed bead is going in between those superduos, like I said. So this next one here, I've got my seed bead on my needle, and I'm just going to go into that superduo. Okay, and continuing. So we got so we've added 3. We've got, you're going to be adding a total of 6. Once you get the last one in, it'll definitely fall into place, so don't worry. And now I'm going to go ahead and pick up number 5. And number 6. And so we're back at that first first super duo that we started at. And I'm just going to go forward into the 11 that's next to it there. And we're going to tighten everything up. So what I'm doing is pushing them down with my thumb and then tugging on my thread with my other hand. So you can see now they're straightened out and the whole thing is lying nice and flat. So that's one of the things you want to do, is make sure there's no cupping. You want this to be nice and flat. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to exit out of this super duo here, and I'm going to pop in our central bead. So I'm coming out of that 11, so just going to go through the next 2 beads, which is a super duo and 11. And then into the super duo. Grab that 4mm. And now remember how we did this? So this is exactly the same as the first unit. You're going to go directly across to the super duo that's across, and note which direction the thread's coming out. So the thread is going right to left. So now this way I'm going to go left to right. That pops in, go back through the 4mm, and then back through this super duo. And again, we were going left to right, so you want to go, or sorry, right to left, so you just want to do the same thing again to create that loop. Okay, voila, it is done. You know, you can always leave it like this, and so you can alternate and create one that's kind of fancy like that, then skip over and then do the next one in just like this one and so forth. But I'm going to continue because I want to show you a couple other things we got to do to complete this. So now that everything's in place, the next part is to add the seed beads that are here on these between the super duos here. So these 3 little seed beads that we did before. So we're going to go ahead and add those in. And then we add the seed beads on the outer ring. It's sort of the next part of it. So I'm going to move these down so you guys hopefully can see those. They're on camera range. So I'm exiting that particular super duo. I'm going to go ahead and pick up my 3 11s. There they are, and I'm going to go into the next super duo there and just get that popped into place and repeat. And again, 3. Next super duo. Okay, this is number 3. Again, I'm adding my little embellishment, my picots, and tightening those. Okay, so we've gotten 4 of those done. Just got to do 2 more. And there it is. Number 5 and number 6 is coming. You just want to make sure just catching that super duo alone, none of the seed beads. Okay, there we go. All 6 of those are there. And now we go to the outside ring, and we're just going to add our 11 O's in between all the 4 millimeters. So we're coming out of that super duo. So easy peasy, just switch into the other hole of the super duo. And if your needle happens to go through that 4 millimeter, that is actually a bonus. Okay, so you're now coming out of this 4 millimeter. So now here's where we're gonna, this joint here, we're gonna do something a little different. I'm only gonna pick up 2. I'm actually gonna go into this 11-0 right here. So that 11-0 is between the bicone and the 4 millimeter. So go ahead and make sure you get that. And then go through the 4 millimeter. So this way, this is going to help keep this whole thing lying nice and flat. So, because if I try to add 3 seed beads here and then just go directly into the 4 millimeter, this connecting unit doesn't lie flat. So this is why I'm doing it this way. And then we are going to go over here to make into this 11 here. So we're coming out of that 4 millimeter, and you want to go kind of up into that seed bead. And it's a little tricky for me. My wrist is like, what are you doing? So go into the seed bead there. And then you're going to kind of tug it downward, and you're going to add 2 11s. So there's the joint, and so now this connector lies nice and flat, and the seed bead over there might pop up a little. That's okay. If there's a little bit of a picot there, that's perfectly fine. And you can always leave these off. You don't have to add the seed beads, and then you just kind of saves you the hassle of having to worry about the units not lying flat. So this is decorative. Again, this is a little bit of embellishment. You totally don't have to add them if you don't want to. So again, now I'm coming out of this 4 millimeter. I'm just going to go into the next 4 millimeter after I've picked up 3 11s. And then repeat. So we got 3 more to go. The next 3. Next, or pick up 3 11s, I should say, and then go into the next 4mm. So this is why I didn't reinforce that circle when we made it, because we're going back through everything and it does get reinforced as you're building. So I've picked up 3 again, and now we're kind of back to where we started. So go ahead and go through that 4mm. Okay, so now you're gonna go through the 3 seed beads. So the 2 that we added and the 2 that were, so it looks a little, it might look like there's a little bit of a gap. That's okay. So it'll, now that we're going through it again, it'll kind of help it straighten out. So that seed bead is connected to the seed beads and also the bicone. So the bicone's like, hey, wait a minute, you're connected to me too. Don't forget me. And that's totally fine. Personally prefer that than having it pop up. So now I'm going through the 4mm, and if it lets me go through the seed bead, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oh. And then my next 2 11s and the 4. And we're just going to make our way down towards this 4mm here and add the next connector. So I got to go through the seed beads next, the next 3 11s there. And now I'm going through the 3rd 11 and the 4mm. Almost there. So now it's going to be 3. So it's okay if you only, sorry, I keep knocking into the camera. If you only get through 2, that's okay. So we're going to go through the seed bead, the 4, and then you actually want to go out. You want to come out of a seed bead. So we'll go ahead and do that next. So 11 and the 4. And then the next 11. Okay, so now everything is just repeating. So those are the 2 units, and you're just going to continue repeating the steps that we did just for this unit here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some of these bicones, and I'm going to need at least 1 more 4mm there. And so it's going to be bicone, 11, 4mm, 11, and bicone. And remember, it's going to be 11, 4mm, and then back over to the 11 where the thread is exiting. So your thread should be coming out of a 4mm, or an 11-0, sorry. And yeah, there we go. And there's our connector unit there. And then you just got to reinforce again. So I'm reinforcing, just going back through all the beads. So there, just going through the 11 and the bicone. My bicones are 3mm in case you missed that. Okay, and now I gotta go through an 11 and a bicone, and I want to come out of that 4mm. So I'm just gonna continue with my reinforcement. Oh, come on, bicone, cooperate. Can't get the needle to go through the hole. Having trouble finding, where is this hole? There we go. Okay, and now you're just gonna go through the 11 and the 4mm. And okay, so now you're just gonna repeat the steps and go ahead and make the rest of the bracelet. Okay, well here is the completed bracelet. I went ahead and finished it and added in my lobster claw clasp for this one. And this one was the toggle clasp. So 7 units to make a 6-inch bracelet. So just think about that if you need something longer. So I think maybe if you need to do a 9-inch or an 8-inch bracelet, you may need to maybe make 9 units. So, and I guess a 7-inch bracelet, you might need to make about 8 units. So just something to think about as you make it. And also, if you do make it, you know, just go ahead and share on Facebook. I've got a group called JRP Designs Crafters, and I always love seeing pictures of what you make from my designs. Anyway, until next time.